Stocks, money market, cryptocurrency, properties are just some of the common investment vehicles we are familiar with. Vince Rapisura, financial guru and a successful social entrepreneur who founded the Social Enterprise Development Partnerships, will let us in the world of cooperatives as an investment vehicle. Learn about the functions of cooperatives and how it helps small entrepreneurs access financing as they open for business.
Itong investment na ito ang pang-retirement, pangpatayo ng bahay, pagpaaral sa aking anak. Kaya mo ba talagang ilagay yan sa isang investment na pwede kang malugi? So, you go into safer investments.
We are now open for business.
It is a signal to the world. We are open for business.
As we ring in the new year and remain hopeful to improve our financial standing, Open for Business discusses wealth management tips with focus on cooperatives. All over the Philippines, there are 18,848 cooperatives in 2020 as per the Cooperative Development Authority. About 10,900 were active. It's high time to get to know cooperatives well and see what opportunities lie ahead in terms of investments. Joining us is an expert in financial education and cooperatives, having formed his own social enterprise development partnerships, or SEDPI, which quickly grew as it embraced microfinancing, financial education, and social entrepreneurship. With over 20 years' experience in social enterprise, he has been invited as a speaker in international conferences, including Asia and Europe. He also authored a book on financial literacy called Learning or Earning Wealth, Successful Strategies in Money Management. Please welcome Mariel Vincent Rapisura, President, CEO of SEDPI. Salamat sa pagpapaunlak sa amin, Vince. How are you?
Thank you, Cesar. I'm good at maraming salamat din sa invitasyon para sa pag-guest dito sa Open for Business.
Last time that we saw each other was in a Pag-ibig event, and I think you were representing SEDPI and you were promoting what's good for the cooperatives when it comes to Pag-ibig. Can you tell us more on the SEDPI initiatives as far as Pag-ibig is concerned?
Yeah, in SEDPI, what we do talaga is promote what we call social investments. Ito yung tayo ay nag-i-invest with the heart. Hindi lang puro profit yung tinitingnan natin, pero dapat at the same time, nakakatulong tayo sa lower income segments or nakakatulong din tayo sa environment. That's the difference. No? We're focused actually on social investments. And that's where Pag-ibig comes in kasi when we save in Pag-ibig, that's going to be used for housing. And housing is one of the challenges nating mga Pilipino. There's about 6 million backlogs in housing. And that's the same with the cooperative sector. When we save in the cooperative sector, the money will be used to support farmers, mga nano and micro enterprises, and small businesses. If you place it in commercial banks, the tycoons will have your money.
Okay, but if you place it in where?
Yeah, in Pag-ibig MP2 or in cooperatives, it will benefit the local economy. It will promote local economic development. So bottom of the pyramid talaga.
Now, Vince, siguro para sa mga gustong makaalam pa, ano ba ang pagkakaiba ng enterprise sa social enterprise?
Yeah.
Di ba? Marami kasing pag sinasabi mong yung iba, social enterprise, ano na to, ito yung may sinasabi nila, ito yung may puso. But you mentioned somehow na mas nakakatulong ito sa nasa laylayan ng lipunan, sabi nga nila. So when you say social enterprise, what exactly it is?
Yung social enterprise is really not just focused on profitability, pero it also has a social and environmental agenda. So hindi tayo nagde-decide ng mga business decisions. Yung mga business decisions that we make sure that these are not oppressive. We make sure that this will not destroy the environment. So for example, magpi-business tayo, kikita nga tayo ng malaki dyan, kung pagkain yan, pero nakakasira naman sa health. No? Maraming preservatives, maraming mga unnatural ingredients. Then you're not really doing your customers good. So, in social enterprise, dapat yung mga decisions natin, hindi lang sa kikita tayo. Tayo dapat nakakatulong at tayo din dapat ay nagpe-preserve ng environment. So, that's the main difference. And the main criteria na para makita natin talaga yung totoong social enterprise is to see how the corporation or the business uses its profit. So, kung yung profit niya ay dinidistribute lang niya sa mga kapitalista, kasi yun yung natin, yung mode, di ba? Hindi siya social enterprise. And that's where the cooperative sector would come in again, because yung cooperatives, ang owners niyan ay yung mga members. So kapag nag-declare ng dividendo yung kooperatiba, yung members ang makikinabang. So marami yung makikinabang, hindi lang yung iilan.
Pero pwede naman sabihin din ng mga malalaking korporasyon. Sabi mo nga, ng tycoons. Sabi nila, meron din naman kaming social purpose. We also have this heart for the society and we give back to the society.
Yeah. But if you ask them whether they would do it if it's not profitable, they won't. But social entrepreneurs will. Kasi yung social mission and environmental agenda is equal to the profitability. O kunwari, sabihin natin yung mga big corporations, can you go into this market pero break even ka lang?
Ayaw nila yun.
Ayaw nila yun.
So, pag sa social enterprise, pwede yun.
Pwede yun, yes.
But, di ba, based on SDGs, di ba, United Nations, parang 17 ba yun? With that 17, even the largest corporations now have special reports on this impact to the planet, environment.
Right.
So, how would you explain that?
Actually, good yun, that they're trying to adopt it. Pero there's also plenty of studies that the report is just there for compliance. Actually, may term nga na ginagamit dyan. It's greenwashing. They're saying na, they're environmentally sound. Pero actually, when you dig deeper, hindi talaga. There's also an accounting system that does this. Pero those who are in the consulting world, sinuri nila kung tama ba yung reporting nila on governance, environment, and the social side. Hindi pa rin talaga nagmamaterialize. So, it looks nice on paper, but in reality, hindi siya okay.
So, parang lip service lang, parang ganun. Parang medyo maganda lang sa report. Hindi ba, Vince, marami kang nakakaaway ng mga malalaking kapitalista dahil sa yung mga pananaw?
Actually, ang ginagawa ko is to try to make them understand that if you take care of your market and if you make your practices more sustainable, it's actually more profitable. I'll give you an example. During the pandemic, we're into the cooperative sector, so we do financing. Pero yung financing namin sa SEDPI is not through loans. Kasi when we talk about financing, parang nagpapautang ka, ganun yung pumapasok. So sa amin, we shifted the paradigm. Instead of a creditor-debtor relationship yung ginagawa ng co-op namin, what we do is, sabi namin, hindi, we're business partners. So we call them kanegosyo.
Kasi pagkakaiba nun, pag nagpapautang ka, may nagbabayad.
Yes.
So ito naman, kapag business partner, malugi ka, malugi kayo pareho.
Malugi kami pareho, at ang mas mahalaga sa amin ay, tutulungan ka namin humanap ng paraan para makabangon ka ulit.
Yan.
Because kapag tutulungan ka namin na makabangon ulit, di masaya, marami akong kliyente. Yung iba kasi, yung traditional financing kasi is, delinquent ka na. Yun yung tawag nila dyan So,
pag delinquent ka, hindi ka na nagbabayad.
Hindi ka nagbabayad. Tapos sisingilin na yung sa'yo, mag-foreclose ka na nila.
Maiilit na yung mga
yung properties mo. So, nahihirapan ka na magbayad ng utang, ibabaon ka pa nila. That's the traditional, conventional finance. But sa amin, what takes precedence is yung tao. Yun yung importante. So, hahanap kami ng paraan para makabayad siya. During the pandemic also, what happened was, di ba nag-lockdown? Kami, hindi na kami nag-charge ng interest during the period na nag-lockdown. Kasi most of the, if not all, the financing companies, chinarge pa rin nila ng interest yung mga may utang. Maski yung mga mahihirap, chinarge pa rin nila. So, ako sabi ko, ayokong ikayaman yung kahirapan ng iba, di ba? It's precisely that. Ayoko yun. So sabi ko, no, we're not going to collect. So we had a hit of about, in those 2.5 months siguro, ang losses namin ay umabot ng 16 million. Pero,
yun ang tanong ko. Yung iba kasi, parang they did good and then eventually it did well for them.
Yes.
Ano yung napala ninyo doon? Kung if your losses during that time was about 16M, what happened?
So, nabalitaan sa community na, yung yung SEDPI op natin o yung SEDPI kanegosyo natin, hindi pala siya nagdagdag ng karagdagang interest, no, during that time na naka-lockdown tayo. So, naramdaman nila yung care ng organization. And so, now, it's easy for us to expand at kami yung linalapitan ng mga members. So, it generated natural marketing for us. Yun yung difference ng social enterprise sa traditional na business.
Okay. Napaliwanag na natin, Vince, yung social enterprise. At lagi natin binabanggit at ang topic natin ngayon ay kooperatiba. Yung sinasabi mo, yung traditional business, ang kumikita yung mga may-ari lang. Pero pagdating sa kooperatiba, ang dividendo napupunta sa mga miyembro ng kooperatiba. So, ibig sabihin, parang feeling mini tycoon ka din kasi ikaw yung nakakakuha ng mga dividendo.
Right.
Maraming types ang kooperatiba, di ba? Parang I read, di ba, out of the 18,848 yun, according to CDA, may 10,000 active. Ano tong mga to? Ano ang klase ng mga kooperatiba?
So, marami yung mga savings and credit cooperative. I think most are multi-purpose cooperatives, so they can go into a lot of businesses, no kinds of businesses. May mga transport cooperatives, there are also workers cooperatives. Ang difference kasi ng cooperatives is we bond together to help each other, no? And we create a business out of that. We share in the profits and losses. Kapag traditional business kasi, mangangapital tayo para kumita. That's the purpose. Pero sa kooperatiba, yung sense of community talaga mas malalim. Kaya usually kapag titignan mo yung mga types of cooperatives, like sa transportation sector, talagang yung mga members ng kooperatibang yan, mga tricycle drivers, jeepney drivers, they're bonding together to be able to run the business more efficiently. At kapag kumita sila, paghahati-hatian nila yun, yung benefits.
Okay, so ito, based dun sa research, may credit, cooperative bank, producer cooperative, multipurpose, other types of cooperatives. Sino-sino yung mga players na yan? So ito ba yung parang, okay, we have a common interest, we bond ourselves together, and saan dapat ito na i-register? Paano pag ayaw mo na? Things like that. You know, how do you go into the process of forming a cooperative or earning from it? And you know, what's your exit strategy din dyan? Parang meron din bang ganon?
Actually, yung forming ng cooperative, minimum of 15 cooperators ang dapat na meron tayo dyan. And you have to register it with the Cooperative Development Authority. To earn from it, you can be a member. So usually, may pre-membership education seminar. Unlike, for example, when you open a bank account sa banko, wala na, di ba? You just sign the documents, give your ID, that's it. Sa cooperative sector, may pre-membership education seminar. So, i-orient ka ng kooperatiba, what the mission and vision is, ano yung products and services, and how it works. And usually, you can earn by becoming a saver and providing share capital in the cooperative. So, ako, ang framework ko sa pagpili ng kooperatiba, or actually, in any kind of investment, I have a framework, I call it the SEXY framework.
Sounds sexy.
Sounds sexy. S is for secure, no? So, it should be secure. Yan yung pinakauna. So, in the cooperative sector, to make sure na...
Secure in the sense na, ano yun?
Yung pag naglagay ka ng deposit mo or ng share capital mo, ay hindi mawawala yung pera mo. So, secure siya to quickly determine kung okay yung cooperative. Kasi sabi mo nga, 10,000 lang yung active. Actually, dun sa active na yan, I'd say mga nasa 1,000 lang talaga yung okay.
Okay.
In the same manner, ganun din naman sa mga corporations. No? I think there are dami
nakarehistro.
Pero yung magagaling, okay, mga 1,000 lang talaga. So, for the security side, I look for cooperatives that are at least 10 years in existence. They own their headquarters. Hindi sila...
So, may opisina ito.
Pagmamayari nila, hindi nagre-rent lang. no?
Okay.
And then yung pangatlo is I look at the score of their Co-op Pesos score, which is a score that the Cooperative Development Authority gives when they audit the cooperative.
What is score like? Is it from 1 to 10?
It's
or parang-
from 1 to 100. So,
Okay.
ang score dapat ay 80 points and above.
Okay.
So, yun
And then
yung
this
pagpili.
is basically coming from the CDA.
Yes.
So if it's 80, pasado ka.
Yes,
So
oo.
parang may mga parameters yun.
Yung 80 ay very good na yon, no? I think yung pasado is 70. Okay, so parang grade din sa school.
So parang may mga ano yun, parang areas where you have a specific score.
Yes,
okay.
Ayun. So these are the three main indicators or quick indicators that I use to determine whether this cooperative would be a good candidate for placing my savings or share capital investment.
Okay.
No? So that's the secure side. And then sexy, E is for encashability or liquidity. So dapat madaling i-convert into cash kung nag-save or nag-invest ka sa kanila. So that one. And then yung X, I call it the X factor. The X factor is social and environmental agenda. So that's the X factor investing.
When you say social and environmental
Agenda.
agenda,
Yeah,
ano
or
yun?
objectives.
Kasi parang ito ba yung sinasabing, ano dapat yung mga materials ng produkto mo, organic, mga ganyan.
Well, hindi naman necessaryong organic. Yung mga okay naman
Or
yung
hindi nakakasira
sa
kalikasan.
Yes, oo. So for example, mag-i-invest ba ako sa minahan na nagpa-follow ng rules para ma-preserve yung environment?
Pero ang alam natin, hindi naman din bawal ang minahan. Basta huwag lang makasira sa
Basta
kalikasan.
oo.
Or meron siyang mitigating
mitigating measures. No? O kaya, renewable energy ka na lang.
Yes.
Doon na lang tayo sa renewable energy, mag-invest. So, mga ganun siya.
Okay.
Yung social side is, we have to make sure na hindi oppressive. Like for example, mababa yung presyo ng mga produkto nila, pero below minimum wage pala magpasahod. Di ba? So, nakatipid tayo, pero at the expense of the employees. So, these are the things that we take a look at in terms of the X factor side. No?
And then we go to Y.
Why? Oo. So yun yung pagtingin ko sa security and cashability X factor, and then panghuli talaga yung Y, which is yield, no, or yung returns. So bago mo paisipin yung kikitain mo, you have to make sure na secure and cashable at may X factor yung investment product or savings product mo before you take a look at the yield. Kasi usually ang mga Pilipino kapag nagtatanong ng investment, ang unang tanong ay magkano bang kikitain ko diyan? Sabihin ko 30%. Pero bukas wala na ako. 'Di ba? Kaya kailangan ang titignan mo muna, secure ba 'yan? Safe ba 'yan? Na madali bang i-convert into cash at may X factor ba 'yan, no? Social and environmental bago yung yield.
But Vince, the way you explain it, we also see that in corporations. Paano ang pagkakaiba? Ano ang pagkakaiba ng isang korporasyon sa isang kooperatiba? Kasi di ba, sabi mo nga, sa cooperative, meron din siyang member cooperatives. Parang yun yung board or yun yung investor. And it's with CDA. So parang magkaiba sila ng pinagre-rehistruhan o government body that handles or that regulates it. So what is the difference between a corporation and a cooperative?
So, yung corporation, ang main na nagpapatakbo sa kanya talaga is profitability. Like us, we also have corporations, pero doon sa mission and vision statement namin, talagang nakalagay doon na we are a social enterprise, pero ang embodiment niya ay corporation. So, ang main difference talaga, for example, member ako ng co-op, no? Bumili ako ng produkto ng kooperatiba, yung pagbili ko na yan doon sa kooperatiba, at the end of the year, titignan na yung financial statements ng kooperatiba at magkakaroon ng tinatawag na patronage refund. Yung patronage refund is a rebate to me based doon sa kinita ng kooperatiba. Tapos, aside from that, may kita pa yung kooperatiba, may dividend pa ako as a member. Pero sa corporation, sa traditional business, when you buy a product, that's it. You don't get any patronage refund or you don't get any dividends.
So, in short, parang mas maraming insentibo or benepisyo para sa mga kooperatiba. Pero ang tanong, hindi ba yung mga korporasyon may mga sarili din silang kooperatiba? I'm just asking all these questions because these are some of the questions that I gathered also from pre-interviews.
Yeah, hindi totoo naman, no? At usually, sa totoo lang, in big corporations, nagfo-form ng cooperative para may pang-mitigate sa management ng corporation. In a sense, parang yung cooperative na fino-form ng mga corporations are for the employees of the corporation. The employees of the corporation, they band together. Sasabihin nila, or we were going to save together and use that money to invest para mapalaki pa. Usually, ganun yung forma ng mga kooperatiba in the corporate sector.
Maganda itong tanong na to. Isa sa katangian ng kooperatiba ay ang pagyakap sa mga maliit na negosyante, ang mga nano-entrepreneurs or nanopreneurs, as SEDPI has coined the term. In fact, even our president is pushing for nano-entrepreneurs to be recognized as contributor to the economy. How are cooperatives beneficial to nano-entrepreneurs, especially to those who rely on financing via 5-6?
Yung mga nano-enterprises, actually, they can benefit from cooperatives kasi the cooperative sector was primarily made, no? Yung essence ng Republic Act 95-20 natin ay nasa social reform agenda eh. And yung social reform agenda natin, ang pinakagusto niya talaga is poverty alleviation. And that's where nano-enterprises belong. Kaya kapag nagde-design ng mga products and services sa mga cooperatives, talagang madali para sa mga nano-enterprises. For example, when they apply for loans for their business, simple lang yung mga document requirements. Yung ibang cooperative nga, ang alam ko lang na requirement nila ay barangay certificate. Tapos, mag-a-apply ka na, they do the credit and background investigation, and if they find you worthy, then you have the capital for your business. You can't do that in banks. Mahirap yan gawin ng mga bangko.
Pero kung ganito kadami at kaganda yung benepisyo ng kooperatiba, bakit kakaunti lang? Sabi mo nga, from 10,000, ang active dyan, ang talagang magaling dyan, 1,000. Why only 1,000? What's your insight on that?
As I mentioned a while ago, no, parang there's about 1,000 cooperatives. But if you take a look at the co-op membership in the Philippines, there are about 10.2 million Filipinos who are members no, of the cooperative sector.
So maaaring kaunti lang pero madaming miyembro.
Madaming miyembro. At saka yung 10.2 million na yan, if you take a look at the working age natin, no? Kung titingnan natin yung ating eligible na for the election, so 18 and above, mga nasa 40 million lang yan eh. So, if you take a look at that, 40 million versus 10.2 million na membership, significant naman yung numbers. No? So, yung in terms of reach, madami.
Saan marami ang cooperatives? Parang in terms of geographics yan, parang saan sila? Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, kalat-kalat din ba yan?
Kalat-kalat yan, madami yan. In fact, if they go to my website, no, vincerapisura.com, or i-google nila, Vince Rapisura, and then top co-ops in the Philippines, gumawa ako ng listahan ng top 3 cooperatives per province. Kasi laging tinatanong sa akin saan ba magandang cooperative ang tingnan ko? Yan, that's the easy list to go. No? Marami tayong mga makikita na ganyan. So for example, in Batangas, meron dyan cooperative. No? They're into egg layers, agriculture, meron silang feed mill, may grocery sila. If you go to Mindanao, madami din yan, mga agri-based co-ops. No? Mga producer organizations. Even in Visayas, ganyan din. Usually, ang maraming members ng mga kooperatiba nasa agri-sector, mga farmers.
So, may mga pagkakataon din ba, Vince, na okay, ganda nitong kooperatiba namin. Parang may chances din ba na, sige, why don't we convert it into a corporation? May ganun ba? Or talagang maiiba na yung struktura, yung sistema kapag naging korporasyon?
I think mag-iiba talaga siya. At parang the way that the cooperative is structured, ibang-iba siya eh. Kasi, di ba ang highest governing body sa corporation, yung board of directors. So may board of directors din yung cooperative. Pero, yung board of directors, kailangan ipa-approve niya sa General Assembly lahat ng policies. And the General Assembly is composed of the whole membership. So, napaka-democratic niya talaga. So, kunwari, may inapprove na yung board, no? Tapos, inangat nila sa General Assembly. Ang sabi ng General Assembly, hindi yan pwede. Walang
Hindi.
magagawa yung board.
Hindi katulad sa korporasyon na pag okay sa board,
Actually,
yun na yun.
kung okay sa may pinakamalaking kapital,
yes, the largest share.
yung the largest share. Ito, sa cooperative kasi, one person, one vote yan. So regardless kung ang share capital mo ay 1,000 pesos versus 1 million pesos, pag nagkita-kita sa General Assembly, pareho lang tayo na one vote.
So technically, pag kooperatiba, ano lang siya, maliliit lang din na grupo. Parang sabi mo nga, para makapagbuo ka, 15 ang members.
Minimum, oo.
Pero
15.
sa isang kooperatiba, gaano ka, yung pinakamalaki, ilan ang members niyan?
Ang pinakamalaki, on average, ang mga nakikita ko, no, na yung mga top performer talaga ng mga cooperatives, mga nasa 100,000 to 200,000 members sila.
Puntahan naman natin yung paano tayo kikita dyan. Like say, from a financial standpoint, what are the key considerations for investors looking to invest in cooperatives in terms of risk and potential returns?
When you invest in a cooperative, if you are purely motivated with the returns, then the cooperative investment is not for you. Okay? Kasi when you become a investor in the cooperative, you enter into the membership. Importante that you understand that you are going to belong to that community. Hindi ka passive investor. Diba? Hindi
participative ka. Talagang very active ka.
Kasi may boto ko nga diba? So, ma-participate ka sa General Assembly, ganyan. So, I just want to emphasize that, no, na kapag tayo nag-invest sa kooperatiba, we have to make sure na we're entering into a community with the rest, no? So paano natin malalaman yung kooperatiba na okay? So as I mentioned a while ago, dapat 10 years in existence na sila, they own their headquarters, and Co-op has a score of at least 80 points, no? Tapos depende na sa'yo kung anong klaseng kooperatiba yung gusto mong salihan.
But in this case, parang do you also reject memberships? Or kunyari, like say for example, kung sige, nag-invest siya, pero very passive naman siya. So parang can he booted out as a member of the cooperative?
Yeah, it would entirely depend on the articles of cooperation and bylaws niya. There are cooperatives, for example, that they're only limited to a certain group or a certain geography. So for example, I register my cooperative and I only get a license from the CDA to operate in Metro Manila. So if you live outside of Metro Manila, i-reject nila talaga yung application mo, no? Or merong mga mga closed cooperatives ang tawag din nila yan, no? So let's say for example lang, pang fisherman ito, no? If you're not a fisherman, then you cannot become a member of that cooperative. So may mga ganun din na
so parang titingnan mo talaga yung bylaws nung nung kooperatiba. Okay. So halimbawa, ako ay maliit na negosyante. So parang sa palagay ko makakatulong sa akin yung kooperatiba. Anong gagawin ko? Do I have to enter my individual name or my small business to that cooperative, or you can do two things at the same time?
In the Philippines, only individuals can become members. So hindi pwedeng mga juridical personalities lang like corporations or your business.
So talagang pangalan mo.
Dapat.
Ikaw yan. But you see that. I'm sure there are MSMEs who are registered, whose owners are registered as individuals in the cooperatives.
Yeah.
So they get the best of both worlds. Parang ganun ba?
So they get they become a member of the cooperative and they put up their business. That's totally fine. Wala namang kaso doon.
Pero, kung baga sa selection process nyo rin yun, baga, ano ang maitutulong ng individual na ito sa kooperatiba? Parang ganyan.
Pwede rin, no? Actually, mas yun yung titignan din natin. Di ba yung community nga kasi siya. So rather than what will I get from that cooperative, ano yung
maitutulong mo para sa kooperatiba. Sige, pumunta tayo doon sa financial strategies na. Isa sa mga nabasa namin ay napag-aaralan ang pagpapayaman. So ngayon, paano kayayaman sa kooperatiba? I know that you have these social initiatives. I know that you are after the environment, you're after the impact of the cooperative to the environment and to the planet and to
the
the
community.
well-being, to the community. Kasi siyempre importante yung why din doon sa sexy mo.
Totoo naman.
So ano yung yield doon? So paano kikita?
Right. So, if I compare, I started investing in the cooperative sector in 2005. So, I select strong cooperatives where I place share capital, And consistently, I've been getting 6% to 12% dividend tax-free from those investments.
Compared
to my stock market investment
ano nakukuha mo doon?
Taas baba siya eh.
So kung 6 to 12, ano yung traditional?
Dito sa stock investing, it could go as high as 50% in a year, but it could also go negative. Negative 30 yata yung pinaka.
So ang pipiliin mo yung consistent na.
Yes, kasi alam mo, Cesar, ang sinasabi ko nga, yung pag-i-invest, ang strategy mo dyan parang pag-ibig. It should be consistent and predictable, di ba? hindi yung roller coaster ride tulad ng sa stock market.
Sa bagay, sabi naman nila sa stock market, ito ang ilalabas mo dyan, yung talagang pera mo na mawala man yan, hindi sasamang loob mo.
Kaya,
diba?
At yan din yung mga fina-flag ko na sinasabi, Kasi, sino ba naman yung tao na may kakayahan na okay lang mawala ang pera niya? Hindi
pero dapat ang mindset mo nga daw ganun dahil alam mong volatile siya. Alam mong magne-negative 30 siya minsan.
Kaya sinasabi ko na mali ang ganong pananaw.
Okay. So pakipaliwanag.
Yun, 'di ba? Kasi 'di ba, parang pinagpapaguran natin ito tapos sasabihin mo okay lang na mawala. Hindi, you guard it with all your might, 'di ba?
Yes.
So it's not to say that I don't have stock investments. I do. Pero if I compare it yung 2005 ko na investment na 1 million, now in the stock market, it's 3.81 million. Not bad, but 2005 to 2023.
Ikumpara natin ngayon
Ikumpara
dito
natin
sa
co-op investing na puro lang siya pataas, walang maski nung pandemic hindi ako nag-loss. Yung share capital investment ko na 1 million nung 2005, it's now 8.2 million pesos. Mas okay siya sa akin kasi alam ko na yung pera ko doon sa kooperatiba nakakatulong sa community. At the same time, natutulungan ako.
So, posible na yung isang individual papasok sa isa o maraming mga kooperatiba. Basta maging participative siya, hindi siya passive. Tapos, at the same time, makakaasa siya ng ganung yield. So, pwede yon.
Yes,
Wow, interesting. Sa librong isinulat mo, sinasabi mo na ang pagyaman ay napag-aaralan. Can you share some more of your financial tips for our viewers, especially in the area of investing?
When we make the investment, we have to always make sure that the purpose, the why, why you are investing is answered. Okay? Kasi kung ang gusto mo lang ay magkaroon ng pera, malabong goal yun No? It doesn't excite me really, because a lot of people can just do that. Pero if you're saying na, okay, itong investment na ito ang pang-retirement. Okay, itong investment na ito dapat ay gagamitin ko pang patayo ng bahay, pagpaaral sa aking anak. If you take a look at those purpose, kaya mo ba talagang ilagay yan sa isang investment na pwede kang malugi? The answer is no, right? So out na agad yung stock market for me kasi pwede kang malugi, di ba? So you go into safer investments. So for retirement, ganyan, para sa akin dyan, yung SSS natin. Kasi yung SSS natin, marami, minamaliit yan, ganyan. Pero actually, wala pa akong nakitang private pension product na tatalo sa SSS with the amount that you contribute.
Ano ba example ang may invest mo doon? Sa SSS?
Yung SSS contribution natin, that's one. So that's the regular SSS.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's what we call the WISP, the Workers Investment Savings Program. As outside na yun ng regular, pero may counterpart pa rin yung employer mo kung ikaw ay employed. And then there is a self-managed one, which is what we call the WISP Plus. Ito, voluntary na talaga siya to augment your retirement. Kumbaga, parang ito ay some sort of 401k natin na equivalent ng US. So you can contribute as much as you want. So the reason I like that is because napaka-safe niya. It's a government agency. May may guarantee coming from the government na kapag nalugi ang SSS ay sasagipin yan ng gobyerno. You don't get that from private companies. No? Number 2 ay Pag-ibig MP2, as I mentioned a while ago. Yun yung mga yun for retirement. So lagi mong iisipin, para saan ba itong investment na ito? Kasi kung hindi malinaw yung why mo in your investment,
Maaaring mali yung solusyon mo or yung paglalaga mo ng pera. Okay, we're done with the retirement halimbawa. Kasi sinabi mo nga marami yun. It could be SSS, maraming option. Ano pa yung iba? Halimbawa, sabihin natin, pagpapatayo ng bahay. Saan ka?
So, sa pagpapatayo ng bahay, unahin mo yung pag-ibig, no, na maglagay ka ng contribution doon. Kasi, ang pinakamaganda sa pag-ibig kasi, no, you only have to put up 5% of the property that you want to build, no, yung bahay na papagawa mo. So, kunwari, 1 million pesos yan, yung bahay mo, no. Mag-ipon ka ng 50,000 pesos, no, na savings. Yun yung equity mo kay pag-ibig.
Kunyari, kung may 50,000 ang naipon mo, mga magkano yung mahihiram mo sa pag-ibig sa halagang 50,000?
Hindi siya nakadepend dun sa savings mo, no? Nakadepend pa rin siya sa capacity to pay mo.
Yun.
So, yun, oo. So, usually, if I'm not mistaken, basta yung magiging monthly mo sa pagbabayad sa kanya, hindi lalagpas ng 30% ng kinikita mo.
Okay.
So, kung kumikita ka ng 20,000 pesos per month, dapat pag nagbabayad ka na ng amortization mo sa kanya, hindi lalagpas ng 6,000 pesos.
So, may matitira pa rin sa'yo.
Yes.
Halimbawa, gusto mo paaralin yung anak mo. Ano naman investment ang pupuntahan mo?
Okay. So, depende sa time horizon. Kung bata pa, no, yung anak mo, okay ako to go into real estate investing, no? Kasi maganda yung rental income at may pagbata pa, mahaba pa yung PC, pwede ka pang bumawi, no? Pero pag kunwari mga 5 years na lang, magka-college na siya, retail treasury bonds, retail dollar bond, Pag-ibig MP2 is still good. Time deposit from rural banks and cooperatives. Kasi di hamak na mas malaki yung interest rate na makukuha mo sa kanila. Sa rural bank, pag nilagay mo yung time deposit mo sa kanila na 5 years plus 1 day, it's tax-free. So, yun, wala nang withholding tax na 20%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ito naman, Vince, kasi maraming nanonood sa atin ng mga MSMEs, yung mga may maliliit na negosyo. Kaya sabihin nila, kailangan ko pa ng additional na kapital. Saan naman sila kukuha ng investments?
Co-op yan, no? Yan yung pinaka-okay. Kasi kapag sa co-op, nagpa-member tayo, mas madali tayong makakuha ng capital for our business. Usually, kapag nano or micro enterprise ka, napakadaling kumuha ng capital for business sa kooperatiba kumpara sa bangko. Mas kakaunti yung document requirements.
Ano lang? Kasi siyempre sa bangko baka ang dami. Daming papel.
I think, no, kung ang kailangan mong kapital ay mga hanggang 50,000 pesos, government ID plus barangay certificate, okay na, ika-credit and background investigation ka na
sa kooperatiba.
Sa kooperatiba.
Pag sa bangko,
ay nako, kailangan mo ng bank statement, kailangan mo ng business registration, ipapakita mo, mga ITR mo, di ba?
Thank you very much, Vince, and I'm sure there's a lot of things. We hope that we invite you again so that you can explain the other advantages of investing in cooperatives, giving back to the community,
right.
Helping the community, and making sure that the environment is safe because of all these initiatives and the special structure that is observed in cooperative development. What advice would you give to individuals or investors interested in aligning their investments with social impact through cooperatives?
Just follow yung my framework for investing, which is what I call the sexy investment. So security and cashability, the X factor for social impact, and then before we think of the yield. Lagi kong sinasabi yan, at the end of the day, kasi whether you invest it in the stock market or in the cooperative, may chance of loss talaga yan. No? May risk talaga dyan. Pero I take comfort na if I lose my money in the cooperative sector, I know where my money went. It didn't go to some tycoon or taipan's pocket. It went to the nano enterprises.
So meron din ba, Vince, tayo sa industriya ng kooperatiba na talagang masasabi natin mga successful na names dun sa cooperatives? Meron bang mga dating cooperative member na ngayon ay tycoon na?
Wala pa akong kilala.
Oh. Ikaw pa lang.
Hindi. Actually,
So paano yun? To create wealth, di ba? Eventually, you go into that status.
yeah, I know. Pero I think iyan din yung itinuturo ng cooperative sector. Hindi dapat excessive wealth. So, ang goal ay hindi ka maging tycoon taipan. That's not the goal. The goal is for everyone to have a convenient and happy life.
And which is related to your poverty alleviation
Yes.
initiatives na kailangan makahango sa kahirapan.
Yes, oo.
Madaling sabihin yun, poverty alleviation. Pero in your case, ano yung basic minimum ba ang tawag doon na parang wala ka na sa kahirapan?
Sa akin, you have a sense of security of your own home, may sarili kang pabahay. And that's what we're doing in SEDPI. No? We have socialized housing. Mayroon ka ding access sa maayos na healthcare system. We have our universal healthcare law, pero kulang na kulang pa. I think dapat talaga mapaigting pa yan. No? And then, mayroon tayong sapat na kita para tayo makakain, makapag-aral, at magkaroon ng maayos na buhay. Yun yung nakakaangat sa kahirapan.
Wow, I think that's the best way to end this conversation. Thank you so much, Vince. And bago tayo matapos, saan kanila matatawagan, saan kanila mahahanap, at kung may mga pagtatanong pa tungkol sa kooperatiba, where can they find you?
Yeah, so they can visit my website, vincerapisura.com, and they can also follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. It's Vince Rapisura also.
And the buzzword of the week is microfinance, also called microcredit, is a type of banking service provided to low-income individuals or groups who otherwise wouldn't have access to financial services. Growing your money through investments or diversifying your portfolio entails a thorough due diligence before investing even in cooperatives. As with other investment instruments, assessing the cooperative's financial health, governance structure, track record, and the risks involved is essential. Additionally, understanding the liquidity, potential returns, and the social impact of the investment are critical factors in making an informed decision. And just like any investment, there are risks. So consider your financial goals, risk tolerance, and investment horizon in determining whether investing in cooperatives aligns with your overall investment strategy. And with that, our quote for the week is, "Cooperatives are a more democratic form of enterprise that can function in a way that benefits both members and the community." That's according to artist Heather Day. Thank you so much, Vince. Maraming salamat sa iyo at maraming salamat sa isang oras na pagsama ninyo sa amin upang tunghayan ang isang makabuluhang usapan ukol sa negosyo dito lang sa Open for Business. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan nyo kaming muli dito sa Open for Business. Catch us too on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe on our social media page at Net25 TV. We will bring you more insights from industry experts, thought leaders, CEOs, and featured SMEs. Together, let us help encourage business development in the Philippines, sharpen your business acumen, feel the pulse, and set the trend for as long as you're informed and open for business. Ito po si Cesar Vallejos. Marami pong salamat.